Okay, I think today I hope you have leave this day with the impression that there are many people doing a very hard work to make this fly. And it is, as I said this morning, a very complicated legislation, and you saw actually very visible with this last presentation that the roles of the different groups change radically with new procedures, and that is one of the challenges. Of course, it is also a challenge, and I can say that as a head of a medicines agency, to give our representatives in the different groups the right mandate so they are able to work at the end of the day, because that will make the system up and running. With this, we will also have other areas where we will be in a new position. We discussed very much with the Pharmacovigilance opening up. There will be much more transparency expectations. We just heard now from Tony the web portal announcements when we have an urgent union safety procedure. All this will put challenges and requirements, of course, of the regulatory authorities, and there we say the European network, saying that it is all of us. But I think that we cannot do that without the help of all stakeholders. And therefore, I think even if it looks like that industry have to do some more procedures and stakeholders have to come to some public hearings and regulatory, I think we are in it together. And I think it is a common responsibility at the end of the day to make this work in a need-to-have way. And therefore I say, and that is maybe not very nice, that maybe it is not that bad that we have to implement this very complicated legislation in a resource-restricted time. Because then we all have to focus. We all have to really say, this is where we have to do this and this and this. And I think it will help us also coming together, because I think there is one area where we need consensus. That is how we, at the end of the day, will have this system to run, because we are all stakeholders in the system. The last thing I will say before thanking all you for coming here is that we have, at least some of us, and I have seen also you have been to the internet, we are sitting here, and this is just an example about how the world passes by. Major things has happened in Libya, so a war is maybe over while we are sitting here discussing urgent union procedures, as Colonel Gaddafi is captured, shot, and maybe dead. That has, at least, we have no deal in that, I think, but at the end of the day, it is a way where we see how much information is floating, how much influence, and how small the world is, even if we are sitting here. So with this, I say thank you very much for my part, and I give the floor to Peter.
Thanks very much. Little to add other than a couple of announcements, really. The slides will be published on our website, so those of you who want to be able to share them with colleagues, with other people within your organizations, they should be available certainly over the coming days. Maybe you might like to take note of some provisional dates, and they are provisional, subject to confirmation. We are thinking about a stakeholder forum on the 27th of February. It's likely that that will coincide with public consultations on the first round of modules for good vigilance practice guidance, so we can have some quite involved discussions and stimulate the consultation responses from you, hopefully. 25th of May, so only a couple of months or even 6 weeks before the legislation starts to apply, may be quite opportune to discuss last-minute issues, if you like, in terms of implementation, your concerns, us being able to tell you about sort of final arrangement for certain procedures and so on. And then 1st of October is another date that we've penciled in. My colleague Frank Dyer-Foucault was suggesting it might be an opportunity to look at initial lessons learnt as well as take stock of what still needs to be done. We also mentioned earlier that we would circulate the EMA's conflict of interest policy because it might be relevant to those of you thinking of applying for PRAC membership through the Commission's call. And on that basis, I would say again, thanks very much for coming. It is thanks for your interest, your engagement. Please do think about responding to the public consultation from the Commission, which closes on the 7th of November. Have a safe trip home and hopefully see you in the new year. Thank you very much indeed.